Shalom, giving all praise to you, Yahweh Shem, Yahshua Shem, Rakakwada, Shalom to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect out there, Shalom to you all. And I'm going to entitle this video, more MOTB news. More MOTB news. And you know what MOTB stands for. If you don't know, ask somebody. So this is the video. I didn't even watch it. I just watched maybe 3 seconds of it. So I'm going to let part or all of it play. I may or may not interrupt it, but let's see where the Spirit takes me. Because I think in this video it's going to cover everything. Pretty much that has to be covered. New policy. I'm going to look up the word policy. Just to get into the etymon of the word. Anyone who refuses to provide biometric data, and we went over biometric data, that's a compound word, bio meaning the body, as in the human body of the animal, metric meaning measure. Electronics fingerprint, palm print, like you have at Whole Foods, you have the palm print. I did a video on that, a short on that. That's biometrics. Eye scan. You saw that in the movie Minority Report, starring Tom Cruise. He went into I believe it was a Gap, and it said, "Good afternoon, Mr. Hakimoto," whatever his name was, because he pulled the Japanese guy's eye out, and when he went into that particular store, the Gap, it did what's called an eye scan. That's also biometric. That's also goes under the definition of biometric, right? Data is Greek for information. Will be denied entry into the EU. Like I said, I didn't see the whole thing. This may be clickbait. We don't know. Let's find out together. So I slowed it down. Fair use, fair use, fair use. Listen up. Not going to be too long.
A man recently became the first person to get on a flight without a boarding pass. Instead, he used just a chip that was implanted in his hand. The Swedish man boarded the jet in Stockholm and posted the video on YouTube. The video also showed the process of implanting the chip, which is about the size of a grain of rice. The test subject is the vice president of a technology consulting firm. He says this was just an experiment and not necessarily something that's coming soon to airports. The London Telegraph reports the technology used in that chip has already been used to make digital payments.
Shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash, for giving us the understanding of the Holy Bible through their men.
Now I want to look up the word policy. Policy. Meaning. Policy, a course of principle of actions adopted or proposed by a government. So it will be policy to have that chip at all times. Party, business, or individual. Government is the first word. Now this is what I want to do. Let me take the word policy and go into the etymon. Online. Got to look up them words. Policy. Policy, way of management. And management, or manage, means to what is it? To manage the house. If I'm not mistaken, I get my words mixed up. Study or practice of government. Economy is managing the house. I'm sorry, not management. Good government, from Old French, policy, political, organizations, civil administration, which is government, from the Latin politia, the state, civil administration, government. So who makes policy? The government. From Greek politia, state, which is government, administration, government, citizenship. From politis, citizen. From police, city, state. So that's all we need. A policy is something that the government makes, a new rule. I just got to find where I left off at. Here we go.
Beginning with the apostles and the bishops of Great Millstone. Right, these are the true men of the Lord, the servants, the prophets, that are worthy of double honors in the time that we're living in, which we're living at the very end of the world, right, pursuant to Matthew 24, verse 3, 2 Ezra 6, verse 9. World in the sense of the Greek word eon, which means an age. And right now we're living at the end of Esau's age. Esau being the so-called white man, the so-called Caucasian race. We're living at the end of their kingdom. Okay, so us as Israelites, and more specifically the hopeful elect of Israel, were to rejoice at the fact that we're living at the end of this man's system. Okay, so with that being said, Yahweh Ba'ashma Washai Bahashem Rakah Kodash Brakatham, to the 144,000 servants as well as the remaining elect of Israel. Anyway, I just came across this article from BBC News. As you can see, it says biometrics to replace stamps at EU border from 12th of October, or October 12th this year. So what's happening right now is that they're transitioning into this digital society. Okay, the fourth industrial revolution, as it were. As a matter of fact, let's look up what fourth industrial revolution means. What is the fourth industrial revolution? And does it involve microchip implant? The fourth industrial revolution refers to the current era of technology advancement characterized by the fusion of digital, biological, and physical systems. It involves emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, robotics, the Internet of Things, quantum computing, biotechnology, and advanced materials. Microchip implants can be a part of this revolution, particularly in areas like healthcare, which I've just done a lesson on that, concerning the Trump administration bringing about, the digital healthcare technology. All right, that's the era we're living in. And again, at the helm of that revolution is going to be the chip, which is the mark of the beast. So it says microchip implants can be a part of this revolution, particularly in areas like healthcare, security, which that's what this article is going into. All right. And human augmentation. These implants are used for purposes such as medical monitoring, identification, and even enhancing certain physical or cognitive abilities. Okay, the scriptures speak about, this man deceiving them by his miracles, right? His lying wonders, as the Apostle Paul spoke about in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. All right. It says, however, they represent just a small aspect of the broader technological changes defining this revolution. Well, that's not true, because the microchip implant is going to be at the helm of this revolution. Okay. Nonetheless, what we're looking at here ties in with the fourth industrial revolution, which is basically the merging of man and technology. Okay, and we're in the beginning stages of, this technocracy. Okay, as a matter of fact, let's look up that word. What is a technocracy? A technocracy is a system of governance where decision makers are selected based on their expertise in specific technical fields such as science, engineering, or economics. In a technocracy, leaders are typically specialists who make policy decisions grounded in data, research, and technical knowledge, rather than political affiliations or popular vote. So anyway, it says this here in the article: stamps in people's passports will be replaced by biometric checks for people traveling in and out of the EU from October 12th, officials have confirmed. which the word biometric basically means, bio refers to the body, metric means measurement, and the tool that they're going to introduce to the masses of people to measure what's going on in your body is gonna come in the form of the chip real soon. Okay, the microchip, which is the mark of the beast. So again, we're getting closer and closer to that vision being fulfilled on a global level, because it's already out. The chip. There's thousands of people around the world that are already using the chip. Okay, such as people out there in Sweden. I believe you got like 50 to 60,000 people that have adopted the microchip in their lives, right? The microchip implant in their life. So it's only a matter of time before the whole wide world get on board with that technology. It says the entry/exit system will replace the current paper checks and will mean passengers from the UK will need to have their fingerprints and faces scanned to cross an EU border. Right, because they're getting ready to make paper obsolete. Okay, as it pertains to traveling, identification, and of course money. All right, they plan on getting rid of paper money as we know it. That's why they want to introduce these digital currencies, which they have done already. You've got CBDCs, which is central bank digital currency, out here in America. You've got this stable coin, which is another form of cryptocurrency, digital currency, if you will. All right, and all that digital currency is going to be stored on the chip. Okay, everything is going to revolve around having the chip underneath the skin. So reason to say the scheme will be rolled out across member nations over 6 months, meaning it will not be fully implemented until April 10th, 2026. It was due to come into effect last November, but has been beset by technological delays. Under the new system, non-EU citizens, which is people that don't reside in Europe, that don't have citizenship in any of the EU nations, including people from the UK, will need to register their biometric data along with their passport details to enter an EU country. You see that? Now, again, upon the next Black Swan event, whatever that may be, this is gonna go from you needing to register your biometric data It's going to go from that to them making it mandatory that you have a chip underneath your skin in order to go to and fro, so to speak. Okay, that's why it says in the vision, Revelation 13 and 16, and he causeth, alright, and he causeth all, the he being Esau, beginning with their wicked elite families, the central banking families, such as the Rothschilds and their contemporaries, which they govern this world as a shadow government. They're the ones that's pulling the strings, so to speak, behind the scenes. They're gonna use their various different puppets, the government, the various different prime ministers. Of course, you're gonna have President Trump. They're all gonna do the bidding of the wicked elite of Esau, Edom, concerning bringing about this new world order, okay, and making it mandatory for you to have a chip to participate in what they're branding as the Great Reset and the Fourth Industrial Revolution. Okay. It goes on to say, anyone who refuses to provide biometric data will be denied entry into the EU. You see that? Anyone who refuses to provide the biometric data will be denied entry into the EU. So again, they're making it to where if you don't get down with this system, this biometric system that they're setting up, you're going to be denied entry into particular regions, right, out there in Europe. Okay, this is why the time that we're coming into is known as the hour of temptation. Now, of course, again, you providing biometric data, via your fingerprints or a face scan, that's not the mark of the beast. But what we're warning you is that the time is coming when these people are going to make it mandatory for you to actually have a chip, okay, in your hand or in your forehead, as in your brain, in order to again participate in this society. And what we're looking at here is the beginning stages of that. Okay, there's a thing called gradualism. Matter of fact, let's look up what the word gradualism means. What's the meaning of gradualism? Gradualism is the belief or policy that change should occur slowly and incrementally over time, rather than through sudden or radical shifts. Okay. It is often used in political, social, and evolutionary context to describe processes that develop through small, continuous progressions. And that's how, these Edomites, the wicked elite of Esau, Edom, are getting down concerning establishing their new world order, and setting up this society to where everyone is chipped. They're doing it gradually. It says currently travelers have to present their passport to a border official to be checked and stamped. The data will be collected at the point of departure, either at an airport, port, or train station, where there will be dedicated booths for scanning fingerprints and taking a photo. Again, this booth at some point in the near future, they're gonna go from scanning fingerprints and taking a photo.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had a call from Ayathon, one of the bishops in Connecticut, and we just got into it, talking about nutrition and probiotics and prebiotics and carbs and exercise and Norwegian 4x4s. Look that up. Anyway, so I wouldn't even watch what was going on, but I'm gonna let it play.
To you presenting either your hand or your forehead, with the chip. It's gonna transition, man. It says this record will then be valid for 3 years, and means on later trips border officers will only need to verify a person's biometrics, which the EU hopes will take less time. People with e-passports will also be able to use e-gates, electronic gates. There is no cost for, entry-exit registration.
Or entry-exit visa tracking system. It's here. It's months away. Like I said, forgive me for not paying attention to this video. I had to speak to the bishop.
Very interesting. For most tourists, digital records will only be held for 3 years and a day. But for those who overstay the 90-day limit without a visa, will have their data held for 5 years. The system aims to tighten border security, keyword being security, which we just read. That's a major part of the fourth industrial revolution. The system aims to tighten border security, but has raised concerns of long queues. The UK government has warned travellers to be prepared to wait during busy times when the scheme begins.
Anyway, I'm watching this. This is a chaos in Houston as black women wait overnight for hair store grand opening to get free bundles, to get free hair. Yeah, because it's in their nature that the Jake woman wants to have long hair because her hair is cursed with, not having as much hair as the other nations out there and the other tribes. and that's a curse. That's Isaiah chapter 3, verse 16, and you can read down a couple of verses. I'm not going to go to it. So women wonder why they don't. Men, if they don't grow their hair, they grow their hair to a particular point. They ain't trying to, you know, say, well, why my hair isn't long? But women want black women, Israelite women want their hair long because they know by nature that their hair is supposed to be long. That's a part of their femininity. You know, that's what attracts men too. Jada Pinkett Smith said she had no problem with her losing hair. That's a bullshit, because how do we know that? When Chris Rock snapped on her about being in the next G.I. Jane, she had everybody laughed, including Will Smith, and when she smirked, he got up and smacked her. We all know about that. Was a smack heard across the world. So that meant that her real emotions came up. That she hates the fact that she has her hair was taken. Her hair was taken away because she's wicked. She's bald headed, you know.
As a check.
That was just I just came across this. So yeah, we were also talking about etiquette and how you got women in the hood that don't know how to act, and you have these Edomites and these other women from other nations. They carry themselves a certain way, a dignified way, because they learn that in school. They learn different musical instruments. They go and I know that for a fact. A lot of Edomites in these higher end schools. When you're in high school, you go to trips to Europe. You know, you go to trips certain places around the world. You learn the culture of different nations. They encourage you to learn more than Spanish, you know, French, you know, Chinese, Japanese, or whatever. In Japan, they do that. Japan and China, they most of them schools, they teach you how to speak English.
Will take several minutes to complete, and that's where you get the term auto ab chao from. Okay, because you're gonna have all these long lines, these long queues, you know, which eventually is gonna erupt into chaos. And the solution that they're gonna present is everyone being chipped. All right, that's going to be the most speedy and convenient.
And like, if you go to certain highways, they have all of them. In New York, the tri-state area, they have a system where it's, you call it Easy Pass. And I remember places where you had traffic, don't have traffic, because you don't have to stop and line up to pay. At that, back in the day, it was 50 cents, $1, whatever it was. And even in Jersey, that Easy Pass, you go through those, you just drive right through. So they're going to do that thing, the same thing they're going to do with the microchip system. And the microchip is here. If you other major camps can't see it, like I said, either the Most High is not dealing with you, Yahweh Shem Yahushua is not dealing with you, or your leader, you know, sold out.
Way, you know, to diffuse these long queues, right, and the hassle of you know, these border checks in the booths and whatnot. So again, you know, we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. 2 Corinthians 2 and 11. As a matter of fact, let's read further down here. It says, once the EES is in place, UK nationals will therefore be able to use e-gates where they are available, provided they are registered in the system. You see? So you're going to have to actually be a part of this system in order to, you know, move as you please, so to speak. Otherwise, you're going to be restricted. So, you know, this is what this fourth industrial revolution entails. This is what the New World Order is all about. And again, it's only a matter of time where, you know, they present the microchip implant as a means to go about your business. And if you don't have that chip, well, you're going to be excluded, right? Because this new world order is about inclusion and exclusion. So anyway, that's what I want to bring out. I pray and hope that you're edified, and until next time, I'll say shalom.
Yeah, so, you know, hey, this is what we do. Anytime we find news on the microchip, MOTB, we bring it out. Just seeing where else is. I'm just checking things out here. Get my bearings straight. Give me a second here. I gotta watch this. Ivanka's confession. A lot of news out there. Proof Epstein jail video is a sham and doctored by the FBI. All kind of truth is coming out. Can't trust this current government. Just looking at these right here. All these notifications, as you can see. Yeah, right here, I gotta watch this. Can't even keep up with all the news. Almost 2 million military men of Ukraine are dead and gone. There's a shortage of men. All them women left. That's where we come in. Most people in high positions know how to steal. Trump uncovers massive bribery fraud at USAID. It is a corrupt system. Trump is going to pardon Diddy, and that shows you what type of man Trump is. He's not a righteous dude. No peace unto the wicked. Yeah, it's their turn. A 51-year-old husband go viral, then left him for another man, a black woman. That's why I said, get you an Edomite. Get you a nice little Edomite. Or one of the tribes. Or like an Elamite or something. It's into you. Forget this black woman. She's garbage for the most part. Pending fall of the proverbial king of the hill. Yeah, the king of the hill. When you look up the word hegemony, hegemony. That's the king of the hill. Hegemony. Hegemony. Hegemony.
Hegemony.
Hegemony. Hegemony. I say him. I pronounce it hegemony. Hegemony. Hegemony refers to the dominance of one group over another. Like America, they were more stout than their fellows, particularly in political, social, or cultural context. It involves the exercise of power and influence. America has the power and military power and influence, often leading to the acceptance of the dominant group, America, values, norms, and perspectives as the norm. America would say something about another country. They're not operating under how would they say not laws but norms. They'll use the word norms, which is not a law, but we expect you to do it this way. We're not giving you a law, we're just telling you to do it. There's no law on it, but if you don't do it, we're going to cut ties with you. Leadership or dominance, especially by one country or social group over others. So the whole world sees that. That represents America. That represents all these other organizations. That we got control over you. That's why ultimately, Revelation 17:12 on down, the beast nations will shoot missiles on Babylon the Great. Right, maintaining U.S. hegemony. Anyway, on to the next. Shalom.